Last year, I did a speech on Mother's Day at my spiritual church about how I picked my mother and all the patterns that went with my mother, and I was so happy to have chosen her and that she was available and would have me. And I love my mother to the moon and back. I'm a victim of no one. But my mother had some patterns. And those patterns were what I needed for my soul path to progress. And I am just so thankful for all of those patterns. It was a little bit difficult. However, I made it through. Everything's wonderful. I love my mother. She's still with us, and I love every lesson I learned from her. After I gave this talk about how difficult some of it was growing up, everybody came up to me after and said, "Wow, you just described my relationship with my mother. It's amazing how that works." And it got me to thinking that we are truly on the wheel of karma, man. We pick our parents because of their patterns. They're going to teach us things. Sometimes we have karma to work out with those people. And it got me to thinking how we are truly on the wheel of karma in this world. It's not just how our families work and how the relationships work with our parents and things like that. These are things that you go through in life. These patterns are at work. These patterns are in your friendships. These patterns are everywhere. And you don't even really know it. We just keep repeating these patterns over and over and over and over again. So this year, I changed it to talk about family and family patterns. And once again, I got the same response. "Wow, you just described my family." And it's amazing because my family's unique. It's mine. You know, when you look at my family compared to other families, we're all different. But are we? It seems to me like we're all the same. So I wanted to share some of those things that I came up with on families. First of all, there's two huge lessons that family members spend lifetime after lifetime after lifetime learning and reincarnating over and over and over again. They just stay on the wheel of karma because they never solve it. Number one is, as far as families are concerned, everybody in the family deserves love without having to do anything for it. I don't know if you've noticed in your family, but it seems like you're only loved as much as you're willing to do for people. Your only obligation to people in your family is to love them. Give them compassion and understanding. But all you need to do is love them, and they shouldn't have to do anything to receive that love. The way I conduct myself with my own kids is I'm very particular about not requiring anything of them. Did you ever notice a family member where, you go to visit and you just want to say hi, and they start throwing all these demands at you? And you're like, well, I just wanted to stop by and visit. But again, unless you're willing to do things for them, you're just not going to receive love. I know how things work kind of in my family. If you didn't vote the way they think you should have voted in the last election, you're probably not going to get invited to Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's just things work out that way. But you know what? It's not just families, man. Take a look at your friends. Take a look at friend groups. Take a look at work. Take a look at other things. It's all the same. We're all going through this. We're on the wheel of karma, and we just don't seem to really know what we're doing. The second family lesson that I see people reincarnate over and over and over and over again to learn is that you're not responsible for your family. Yes, of course, if you have kids, I think you have a moral responsibility to raise them. But once they turn 18, they're done. You can love them, give them compassion and understanding, but their life journey is theirs. Their life struggles are theirs. Their life struggles aren't yours, okay? This brings about, some of the laws of non-interference. You're supposed to just let people have their experiences. Love them through it, but I think the way a lot of families work is they feel like, well, you're responsible for me, so you have to help me in this situation. And by help, I don't want to say that if someone's dying in the street, you're not going to help them and say, you got to learn your lesson. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is getting in their life, paying their bills, making decisions for them, doing things that they should be doing for themselves, helping them out of situations that they got themselves into. So I think when they turn 18, you don't have any more responsibilities there. But like people will teach you, they'll try to teach you that you are responsible for everyone. I know in some families, you're not allowed to live a blessed life. You have to trickle down all of your blessings to everyone else. If you came into a bunch of money, you got to give everybody money. If you got a great job, you got to get everybody in the family who doesn't like their job, you got to get them a job, in your place or whatever. You're not responsible for any of these people. And, it's not like you can't get people a job, but I know how people are. They not only want you to get them the job, they want, every time they struggle in that job, they want you to solve those problems. And, it's not right. But these aren't just family issues. These are issues with all throughout, friendships, organizations, whatever. You'll see that it's all the same. But that's why I wanted to come on here and tell everybody that, you incarnate and have soul contracts with many people in your family. And people screw it up life after life after life. In fact, I see them, incarnate so many times, they switch it up. All right, you be the daughter and I'll be the dad this time. We'll see if we can sort it out. No, let's not be husband and wife anymore. Let's be, sister and brother. And we'll see if we can work it out that way. Why do you have to work anything out? You're not responsible for anybody but yourself. Your soul path is yours and yours alone. I just suggest everybody be a spiritual warrior. And, my mother and her patterns and the difficulty, some difficulty in growing up. I was a blessed child. I really was. I have nothing to complain about. But some things were difficult. But those things were all lessons that I needed to learn. And man, I just love my mother and I love my family so much for those lessons. But getting too involved in people's lives, remember those laws of non-interference. When you constantly help people out of a jam and you constantly are taking on people's karma, it creates kind of a karmic entanglement. And then you take on some of their karma. Well, guess what? You have your own damn life to live. Get started on your soul path. Otherwise, you're not going to make it in time, or you're not going to learn the things that you came here to learn. So when families try to explain to you that you're responsible for everyone and they're responsible and we're all a family, yeah, you can have some family obligations, and yeah, you love your family. I don't know about more than other people, because I think love is love, either way you put it. But you don't have the responsibilities that sometimes, the patriarch or the multiple patriarchs of your family, decide that they're going to, dispatch you to go and solve throughout the family, and that you have to do these things. There's always a family member that is sitting around, looking at their watch, waiting for their apology for God knows what, and you don't even know what you're apologizing for. But, I made a video a while back about, releasing your karma and going into meditation and forgiving everyone and apologizing to everyone that you need to apologize to. But remember, you don't have to do everything in person. And the people that are out there, especially in your family, that are demanding apologies or waiting around for some apology for something you don't even understand what they're waiting around for, there's something wrong with them. They need to look within. They're the ones who need to go into meditation and forgive. And, it's in the past. Forget about the past. How many times do your family, bring up things that happened to you in the past? And, oh, this defines this person. Hey, the philosopher Kierkegaard said, if you name me or label me, you negate me. You ignore all the other things that I could possibly be. And remember, it's the same thing in life. Everybody's going through their life. Everybody's trying to, have that soul progression, learn their lessons. And nobody deserves to be confined by their past, because we all have one. So these aren't just family relationships. These are relationships everywhere and anywhere. You can find them anywhere. But let's get off the wheel of karma together. Forgive everything, forgive everyone. But remember, you don't have to have low vibrational people in your life. You don't have to have toxic people in your life just because they're family members. You can move on from that. You can love them, and I think it's your obligation to love them. But you don't have to have them in your life. Just some of the rules that helped govern my journey. I hope it helps. Good luck.